Alright guys, yeah man, it's Double H here. Double H, Double H, Double H, this video, as it says up there, it's about James Cameron. Jimmy Cameron, Jiminy Cricket, anything I want to say, James Cameron. Um the evolution or the devolution of James Cameron is a very interesting one. And I think again with all of these talk back discussions and analyses, they go deeper and they're deeper than the actual thing of on face value. And looking at Avatar and looking at just where James Cameron's mind is now, the real thing that was the catalyst for me doing something like this was the director's commentary on T2. And it's a thing that has always pretty much lingered in my mind, and obviously it was, the scene where he's you see when what's it called, Serkana is actually trying to kill or shoot down Miles Dyson, obviously in his home with his family, and obviously Annie comes in, and then they actually open up his arm. And James Cameron said that if they had CGI, they would have done that whole thing in computer gra- graphics, basically. And that statement that James Cameron said has pretty much dictated where his psychology and his mind is now, with regard to films and creativity as well. And the James Cameron that we have now, I think, is a man who is trying to distance himself and looks down on Terminator 1. I'm not even T2, Terminator 1. Because for me, I feel that, guys can say, oh, like, how can you say? I mean, I don't care when anyone says T2 is one of the best films I've ever seen in my life. I'll put it up straight up with the Godfathers, the Patterns, the Midnight Cowboys, the Scarfaces, the 2001 Space Odyssey's, Clockwork Orange. You guys will be saying I'm mad that I'm even putting it in the same league, but I don't care. Do what you want. For me, I just believe that T2 is an amazing film that has an amazing story, as is shot in an amazing way with an amazing spectacle, and just an amazing piece of cinema. It's an incredible piece of cinema T2. But at the same time, I feel that Terminator is a greater achievement based on the money that James Cameron had. And I think that, when you look at something like Terminator, and I think it was one thing that even Elements was even telling me that the scene when you see Annie, in um, I think it's the T800 or something like that. See, when you see Annie in the room, the T800 in the room, in the hotel room, and you basically see him basically trying to fix his eye and look in the mirror, and obviously because they obviously you see him actually like removing his eye and all that kind of stuff, they actually has to use like a puppet, and obviously Element says okay, it pulls you out of the film because it's fake. But the beauty about that is the cheapness, the rawness, and you see people's creativity working because they know we don't have computers, we don't have this technology with us, so we have to use the real things within us. And I think that with that, and you see that, it's you know there's a vintage quality to it, an eternal quality to that. That when he says that, you just know that, yeah, man, this is Terminator, that film that was made in the 80s, that film that has that cheapness, and that cheapness enhances its quality. And I think that, when you look at Terminator and just look at just how the different things they use, using puppets, using miniatures, using different doubles, using camera tricks, using editing tricks because of the money they didn't have, it's just, there's a quality to that, and a quality that is undying within that. And for me, I just think that when you look at James Cameron and just see the way he really changed, it was Titanic. Because Titanic made ridiculous amounts of cash, you know. And but the thing about Titanic was really, it was because obviously this was something that he was working on in the abyss, basically just trying to like work with his whole elements of technology, and the whole thing, getting the whole thing like water right. But I think, you know, Abyss was really, because I mean this guy is an underwater guy, so Abyss was really his love. But I think in Titanic he could really use his special effects capabilities and that, and obviously the shipwreckings. For me, I mean Titanic's not really my kind of film. It was too sappy for me, but you know, I was happy when the character died. That off topic, quick off topic. No matter how much DiCaprio squeezes his face and acts serious, DiCaprio, he's a very good actor. No matter how much he squeezes his face and tries to be serious, he will never live down Titanic. It is a stigma that will be with him for the rest of his life. I don't care. Every time I see DiCaprio, I see that extremely annoying guy called Jack. I'm the king of the world. Um. So yeah. So back to this whole thing. I think yeah, with Titanic, obviously like that shipwrecking scene was one of the cinematic greats. How the technology knows how he filmed that was just ridiculous. Because I saw that in the cinema when it came out. Ridiculous. But I think obviously after that, and because it's made so much money, he actually like raised retired because he made so much money. you know. But then now came Avatar, and the key thing about Avatar was this, because the key thing was that first teaser. Before you saw the infamous blue people, the infamous Smurfs that people say, when you just saw the just when you just saw Jake Sully, when you just see him open his eyes and you just see him looking at the part of himself, I was thinking aliens. This guy is going to that alien psychology, that tone, that feel, that's kind of very hardcore cold sci-fi ness of aliens. Then we saw his the Navi for the first time, and I was like, okay, no, this is not aliens. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, start that thing, but it's not quite what I was looking for there. Then we saw the longer trailer, which obviously was still good and everything. That's I still like Avatar, but I think that you know the film that I anticipated from that first teaser was not really the film that I got, if you know what I mean. And again, you look back at Avatar and you think that's okay. Why couldn't they have been real people? And you look back at Avatar and think that's okay. Take away the technology, it dances with wolves, but dances with wolves does it better. It's Last of the Mohicans, but Mohicans does it better. So it's like, I mean, you look at something like Terminator. The technology is great, and you obviously have the whole star thing of Annie, and in Tito you have the ridiculous for me, like how Sierra Khan did not get an Oscar nomination for that role. Again, it's just how people just piss on these kinds of films and they think, oh, it's the blockbuster film, and they just piss on this film and they don't take them seriously. Same thing with like comedies, so whatever. But um, basically, it's like you look at those films like Terminator and Terminator 2, like yes, they had the technology and everything like that, especially T2, but there was a very strong story. You know, the obviously the story is very inventive of Terminator 1, the whole concept and then the plot is very mind bending. T2 has watch T2 again. Just for a laugh. I mean, because I just want you guys to watch T2 again and tell me that there's not a very that is not a beautiful story. Because people say, okay, action, Annie, blah blah blah. Even with Annie and Annie's character, tell me a better film that has a better relationship between man, stroke boy, and a machine.